What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and finally we have the patch notes available to us. And I gotta say, man, these are some pretty exciting patch notes. Probably some of the best patch notes we've had in a long time. Now, unfortunately, we don't have anything for Thanos, which is pretty unfortunate. But I think that what you're going to see in these patch notes is actually going to make up for that. So let's go ahead and pull those things up and let's do a little reading. So check this out, man. So of course, we got potential transcendence for Drax and Gamora. Adam's actually got a tier 3, which is pretty cool. And then we have a new world boss legend, Infinity Ultron. I'm pretty freaking stoked about this. This is actually extremely exciting. And then also, Danger Room beta test is now going to be over. So Danger Room is going bye-bye. For a lot of players, this isn't going to matter. For some players, it will. Some players take this game very seriously, or game mode very seriously, and they love to play it. So we'll see what happens in the future when regarding that. And then we get down to some of the good stuff here with the new uniform. So starting off with Drax, and all the uniforms are going to be on sale, 40% off. This is something they usually always do. He's still a blast type, still a superhero. And then his uniform effect. Now check this out. So we got chain hit damage by 15% when attacking. That is awesome. It's always going to be up. Additional pierce by 5%. Oh my god, that is sweet. That's really going to be sweet for newer players that don't have any pierce on their cards. And they gave him native guard break immunity. Hint, 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 hint. So I'm seeing some damage buffs right here, and I'm seeing maybe PvP potential, but this actually can come in handy in PvE as well. He also has a 70% chance to penetrate super armor, barrier, shield. Now let me take a look. As far as his penetration, he had a 40% chance before, so now he's got a 70% chance, which is awesome. And they gave him a decreased damage received by 25%. That's even better than what he had before because he didn't have any at all. That's awesome. So that's nice to see. Very good for PvP. His skill 1, no big deal. Skill 2, check this out. It's got a counterattack that has ignore iframe. So right there lets you know that PvP is probably where Adam's going to shine. And this is pretty much what I was predicting for Adam Warlock. I thought, well, they're probably going to make him a PvP guy, and that's kind of what it looks like he's going to be right now. They also gave him a native heal. Thank God they gave him a heal. They didn't lock him behind an artifact. They gave him a remove all debuff, which is awesome for PvP. And then, of course, the ignore iframe, which is nice. Very cool. And this is on a 6-second cooldown. This third skill has a continually attacking enemy skill, and it's got a 1.1% accumulation. Thank you, God. Thank you for giving. So he might be really, he might be a really well-rounded character that's going to be good for PvE and PvP. I mean, we'll see, having ignore iframe, having all that extra penetration, the decreased damage received. I mean, we'll see. I got some high hopes for old boy. And he's got 6 seconds of invincibility on the third skill, giving him super armor, which means he won't be get guard broken against null. Very nice. And then on his fourth skill, he has immunity all damage. That is so sweet. So he got 6 seconds of invincibility, 6 seconds of immunity, a 20% recovery heal, and damage accumulation, and ignore iframe, and extra pierce, and decreased damage received. So they've done a lot for this character. They also gave him a null defense down that goes up to 50%. And his fifth skill gives him an increased all attack by 20%. Very nice. And basic defenses by 70%. So, I mean, Adam might be really solid in PvP. It remains to be seen. And then we get down to a PvE looking character. And I gotta say, after you look at Requiem, she looks like she's going to be god tier. Maybe even changing the meta, I would imagine. She's a speed, and they did make her a supervillain. Thank you. Thank you for making her a supervillain. So, speed supervillain day in ABX? Huh? New meta? We'll see. Let's read on. So, her uniform effect is going to give her critical damage increase by 25%, making it easier to level up her uniform. The guaranteed dodge and guaranteed critical rate is very nice. This here actually lets you know that she's going to be pretty good with a rage, because if you got that guaranteed critical rate, proccing the rage is going to be a lot easier. So, that might hint to us ABX right there, although it doesn't guarantee anything. And this is what's awesome. Her leadership now gives a 55% increase of physical attack to all speed types. Now, the trope that speed types have always had is their leaderships have always been complete trash, right? Just increase all speed by whatever percent, just junk. They actually gave her an insane leadership that's going to buff her own self and any other speed type, which is awesome. And then her passive, yeah, deal bleed, that's joke. And then applies itself Increase basic damage to supervillains by 45%, and this only applies to herself, so she's not going to be a support for any character, just for herself. The support's really going to only be from her leadership, but the increased basic damage to superhero faction by 45%. I mean, this is very suiting for this character. She fought heroes and villains in that storyline, and then the increased skill damage by 45%. These are some massive buffs for this character, but it gets better, my friends. It gets better. You know, she got some paralysis, which is nice. That applies to regular boss. And then she also has damage accumulation, thank you God, and it's a 1%. That is awesome. And these are on low cooldowns, by the way. She also has, she can penetrate everything for 3 seconds, which is nice. And, you know, that could be good for PvP. Might make her good in AC, but judging from looking at her kit, I would assume more than likely, I mean, she's going to be more PvE oriented. Her force skill gives her a 5-second immunity, and then of course the 60% penetration of everything for 3 seconds. So wow, I mean, she's got a lot of penetration in her kit. I will say that. That's we'll see. And then increase all basic attack by 35%. Nice little buff right there that lasts for 5 seconds. And then her fifth skill gives her a nice little heal. Thank you God. We want to see those heals in our characters. And then increase all basic attack by 40%. So I mean, they gave her a lot. The critical rate buff, the attack buff, the damage accumulation, the increased damage to supervillains and superheroes. I mean, they've done a lot. The buff to her leadership. I mean, Gamora or Requiem is looking pretty godly right now, guys. Wow. And then Drax. Now, Drax is pretty interesting. His uniform effect actually gives him, this only applies to himself. He's, by the way, he's still a combat, still a superhero, but decreased basic damage received from supervillain or superheroes by 60%, and then increased skill damage by 40% and bonus damage by 30%. So he's going to be a tanky boy, but we'll read on. And then his leadership. Now, his leadership already had increased to HP whenever combat types were on the field, and it only went up to 45% whenever you had 3 agents. So they jumped it up by 20% pretty much on these layers here. So I mean, now when you ever have 3 combat characters on a team, they're going to get an extra 65% increase of HP. And Valkyrie is a combat. She does add that damage to super villains. So I mean, you can get a support that's a combat and put Drax in there. I mean, and then have another combat. I mean, it's we'll see how that plays out. It might play out really good in PvP as well, adding an insane amount of HP. I mean, maybe if there's a week you're using Immortal Hulk, that might come in pretty handy, but I mean, Drax himself might be pretty godly. We'll see. His passive, all defense down, that's, I mean, it's always going to be up. Whenever you're attacking, you're always going to have this all defense down. And whenever you have 3 combat types on the team, your all defense down actually goes up. This is something unique only to Drax, and I like it. I think it's pretty cool. It's not going to be very effective, obviously, against Null, Mephisto, and another World Boss Legend. But it's still pretty cool. His tier 2 passive, decreased damage received from reflected effects, 60%. So when you see this, you think, oh, probably PvP, and then ignore target dodge rate by 30%. Nice. I'm really glad to see that in there. And then increased damage dealt to targets with mockery effect. And currently right now in the game, the only character I know that has mockery effect is Blue Marvel. So he's going to have an insane buff against Blue Marvel. But Blue Marvel, I mean, he's really solid in AC, but I mean, people don't use him in timeline anymore. He fell behind actually fairly quickly. So yeah, I mean, this is awesome. I mean, so if we give future characters that mockery effect, this is going to be godly for him, because he's going to do an insane amount of damage to those characters. I mean, think about it. He's going to be really tanky against superheroes and supervillains, and this is going to be a huge buff with the characters that have mockery effect. And again, so far it's just Blue Marvel. And then the 1, the 2, nothing. The third skill, check it out, man. So he has mockery on himself, okay? And with mockery, force opponents to focus attack on the caster, cannot be removed with the remove all debuff. As far as what I could tell, whenever Blue Marvel got this, it really didn't change anything. It's not an effect that really made a huge difference in PvP. It's kind of, you know, one of those things. It's not really a big deal. But he does have a 40% recovery of max HP. That is godly. That is an insane recovery heal. Holy crap. And they gave him a remove all debuff for 4 seconds, which is amazing, guys. That's going to make him even better against like the toxic meteorites that are falling on the ground. He's going to be debuffing that stuff. I mean, he's going to be, and plus being super tanky. I mean, this guy's going to have some insane survivability. Wow. Wow. And and then increase attack by 10%, but there is a 100% chance to not receive the super armor, barrier shield, and all damage immune invincible effect for 9 seconds. Okay. And then the fourth skill gives him super armor, thank God, and then immunity to all damage for 6 seconds on a 7-second cooldown. So he's pretty much going to have immunity to damage almost all the time. He's going to have a 40% recovery of heal all the time. He's going to have all those decreased damage received, and he's going to have the HP buff, and he gets the 50% attack buff here. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. But what I'm not seeing is damage accumulation. I'm not seeing any damage accumulation, and that kind of worries me. You know, I see these attack buffs, and those are really, really nice, but whenever characters don't have damage accumulation, I mean, it doesn't mean they won't be good. It just means they're not going to be as strong as what you'd like them to be. He does have invincibility, and he does have penetrate everything for 8 seconds, so he might be one of those characters that's just super, super tanky and can be useful in PvP. He might be really good in PvP. It remains to be seen, and he does have a nice 45% attack buff. They gave him a lot of big buffs, but I really wish I would have seen some accumulation in his kit, and unfortunately we don't, and that does kind of worry me. But everything else looks, I mean, it looks insane. It really does. It looks freaking godly. Then we get to Adam Warlock's tier 3 ultimate skill, and I mean, this is like the bare minimum as far as effects regarding tier 3s. I mean, come on now. All defense down, that goes up to 70%, and then invincibility, no remove all debuff, nothing like that. And then increase all base attack for 40%, which is pretty cool. That's going to add damage to his regular skills afterwards. So, wow, his tier 3 looks dope, by the way. I mean, he jumps in space, picks up like a moon or whatever, and throws it at the opponents. That's pretty cool. And then we have Gamora and Drax Potential Awakening Transcended Potential. And these guys are pretty much, I mean, it's almost identical between their awakened skills. Nothing really major. There's no damage accumulation on Drax's here. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. I really do think Gamora is going to be the PvE shining light of the update regarding PvE anyways. PvP, I think it's probably going to be Adam Warlock, and Drax might be somewhere in between. We'll see. And then you can see the awakened skills here. And then they talk about the Danger Room beta test over, you know, and you guys can read through all this. I'm not going to go through all this here. They talk about some new packs that they got in here. Nothing really major, how there's going to be bios. Honestly, I wish they put other rewards in those things instead of just bios. I'd like to see some tier 3 mats or awakened mats, something like that. I mean, that would be a lot better in my opinion. And then we get to the real good stuff. And this is what I'm the most excited for. Even though we got some really awesome looking characters coming in with new uniforms, this, to me, is the heart of this update. New World Boss Legend Infinity Ultron, which is awesome, guys. And this was inspired by the Ultron in the What If series. If you guys watch that, then you know what they're talking about. That is awesome. And you're going to be able to get, well, you might be able to get a mighty CTB destruction, which is pretty unlikely. You know, I've been playing it ever since World Boss Legends come out, which Null was the first one. And I've never, ever, 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 ever gotten a CTB from there. It's never happened, probably never will. Who knows? The rates are abysmal in that crap. There should at least be one guaranteed CTP in all of those when you reach a certain level or a certain stage. But it is what it is. But I'm still happy that this is here because it means new content. And then you're going to get a new icon for Ultron on your first clear. That's pretty damn cool. Infinity Ultron is much stronger than the existing World Boss Legends, and we look forward to this challenge. Superior skills and proper preparation will be needed to face him. Hell yeah. So I am looking very, very forward to this, man. Checking out the new mechanics of the new boss, you know, how different it's going to be versus Null and Mephisto. Mephisto was very different from Null, so we can only expect that Ultron's going to be the same, which is, I mean, that's exciting, guys. I'm so stoked for this one. Wow. So clear the War Boss Legend Infinity Ultron to receive various rewards and, you know, tier 3, blah, 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 blah. I mean, we know it's going to be the same old thing, guys, as far as rewards, except now you get a chance to get a mighty CTP of destruction, which is pretty nice. And got a little new layout here. I like this. This actually looks really, really nice. And then we get down to some artifacts. Now, this is what we all detest, hate with a passion. So Gamora's gives her ignore target dodge rate by 20%. It's going to make her better for PvE, but I mean, it's going to make her better. You know what? Actually, as far as Gamora, I don't think she has an ignore target dodge rate, right? They didn't. Oh, wow, they didn't need, oh, there it is, by 70%. Okay, so, I mean, they got the ignore target dodge rate in her awakened skill, but as far as her regular kit, I don't think they have an ignore target dodge rate in her kit at all, unless I missed it somewhere. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, easily if you have a Mighty CDB Destruction, you got a Strike proc, you'll eliminate that problem because then you'll have 100% ignore dodge every time. So that's not really a big deal. And then increase basic damage to enemies with 50% HP or below by 25%. I mean, that's okay, but I don't think it's going to make or break her, so that's fine. Drax's activation rate when hit applies sub, increase all basic attack by 5%. I mean, okay, I don't really, I mean, this isn't going to make or break him either, so that's not bad. Warlock. Now, Adam Warlock actually gets a very, very good artifact. This actually would make him a lot better for all game modes. And this is, you know, the Wolverine buff here, more or less, where when HP is below 99%, he gets a heal by 2.5%. So he would be constantly healing because this is on a 1 second cooldown, but it's not going to make or break him. He's already got a heal in his kit. So I'm really glad that Netmarble, at least they put a heal in his kit to where, like, when you see this, it does disgust you because you know it's going to make him a lot better for all content. Having a heal constantly will make him tremendously better for PvP and PvE, but at least you know he already has a heal in his kit. He doesn't need it per se. So we'll see how this plays out, but I mean, I don't like it. I honestly can't stand the artifact system. They really need to change it. And then Ultron gets an artifact as well. And activation rate required, Ultron, blah, blah, blah. A 50% chance when attacking applies to self. And he can attack enemies with ignore targeting. So this gives him an ignore iframe is what it gives him. And it can exceed 100% chance, increase all base stat by 30%. So Ultron has a godly artifact. This is freaking nuts. Oh, especially for PvP. And this is on a 9-second cooldown. However, Ultron doesn't have a uniform. So because we're getting this new World Boss Legend, I would almost bet you all that in the next patch, we're going to get a uniform for Ultron. They're not going to give him an artifact and then never give him a uniform. They're absolutely going to queue up a uniform for this guy. It's just we don't have it in this update. But yeah, that does give us something to look forward to, but this artifact is godly. And here's the thing, you know, whenever Ultron gets his new uniform and we don't see ignore iframe, but we know that he's got a tremendous amount of PvP potential, that's going to piss a lot of us off because we're going to see this and be like, yeah, Netmarble. Yeah, good job. And I'm being very sarcastic when I say that. So yeah, I don't really like the looks of that at all. Ugh. Then we have the future pass. I mean, nothing really special, guys. You spend $10, you can get this icon right here. You know, you spend a little bit more money, you'll get this icon here, and so on and so on. Same old. You see the icons right here. Pretty cool looking icons. Now this here just kind of, I mean, this is just whatever. Like now you can click on this little icon and it shows you the maximum stats your CTP can get. Now this is all good. It's good for content creators and good for all you players out there to take a look and see, you know, what the maximum stats are. What they should have done is had a system to where we could lock the damn stat. That's what they should have done. Lock the damage proc or lock the yellow stat. That's what they should have done, those peckers. This here just kind of, I mean, it's an improvement to it's a nice quality of life change, but I wish they would have had something where it would have locked the stat. But, you know, Netmarble's not going to do that because they know they're probably going to lose money. But you know what? More people would be more inclined to reforge CTPs if we could lock stats down. They would be more inclined to do it. I guarantee it. And then the contents of Reforged Guide that can be viewed by tapping the question mark icon when reforging has been improved. Okay, whatever. It's kind of whatever. And then this is something that, you know, if you play AC, you're going to really like this, right? The save team feature has been added for Alliance Conquest, so you can actually save your teams that you played with before. So for all you PvP players that are really into AC, this is a nice quality of life change. I mean, if I played AC, I would be excited about this. I'd be like, man, this is good stuff. Anytime you can save yourself time and it's already have presets set up, that's pretty damn nice. I really like that they done this. Even though I don't play AC, I'm really happy that they did queue this up. And then we have a bunch of improvements. We have some game error fixes. I'm not going to go into this at all, but I mean, the update looks pretty damn solid. It looks pretty damn dope. I mean, I will say that This artifact does kind of bug me a little bit. Don't really care for it, but you know, these are fine, whatever. But the characters look godly. The World Boss Legend, oh my god, I'm so excited for that. That to me, I'm just the most excited for personally. But I do think Gamora is going to be godly in PvE. I think Drax is going to be like an in-between character, more or less. And I'm predicting that Adam's probably going to be really good in PvP. Although his artifact will make him a lot better because he'd have a constant heal, he still already has a heal in his kit, which is still nice. I mean, a 20% recovery heal is really, really good. So he's still going to be pretty solid, I would think. So very, very exciting news for all of these characters for this update. So, I mean, let me know how you're all feeling about the update, guys. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. Bye, everyone.